Hello, ladies, and welcome back to another episode of the Flourish Women Podcast.
What's up?
You are now locked into a judgment-free zone where we take on real-life issues and meet them with godly truth, wisdom, and transparency. So my name is Lakia Duff, and I am your host for today's episode.
Hey, Lakia. Baby mama, baby mama, baby mama.
Hey. No drama, I gotta embrace that.
No drama.
Right. Right, because we ain't going nowhere. Okay, so, and we have co-host Lori with us.
Lori. Hey,
Beautiful. E-I-O-U. Sometimes Y-N-W.
I'm so done with you.
We have co-host AD.
Hey.
But I can't lift my arm all the way up.
And we have our beloved Lady Taryn.
I got it now. I got
it.
So, ladies, welcome back to episode 2 of season 3 of the Flourish Women Podcast. So, for those of you who are new, we have a segment that we do here called You Grow Girl.
You grow, girl.
We got it. So, this segment, what we do here is we like to take a moment to celebrate our wins. So it doesn't matter how big or how small. Our saying here is it doesn't matter how fast you're moving as long as you're moving.
That's right.
So,
Good.
who wants to take this You Grow Girl segment today?
I'm going to take it today, guys. We're going to try. So lately, it's summertime. So what I've been wanting to do, or what we have been doing, is going swimming. But we've been doing it at home. We bought a little pool from Walmart and have been enjoying it. And I've just developed a love for like swimming pools and caring for them. And so with our particular pool that we got, it comes with like the pumps and the filters and all of the bells and the whistles. It's a little fancy to be just what I feel is an inexpensive swimming pool. But as my main thing is the filling it up and not wanting to have to, keep draining the water out, refilling. So I'm like, let me figure out how to maintain the water. So I had to do a lot of research, do all of this stuff, but it has really opened my eyes to something that I do desire down the line, which is a real swimming pool in our home. And so I feel like God is just teaching me and training me with this swimming pool, with my little baby pool. But I'm being faithful with it, being a good steward with it, testing my little water levels, got all my little gadgets and stuff, just really taking time to invest. So for me, it's a growth moment because I'm dedicating this time because I know that, eventually it's going to be, I'm going to get what I desire as far as the real pool. So that's my you grow girl moment. I can't get it out. I'm just getting so excited. Hopefully it makes sense.
It does make sense.
That's really good because I was actually telling somebody the other day not in order for, but a lot of times when God blesses you, he'll prepare you for whatever is coming before. So you got to be faithful and take care of what you got.
That's what I do believe.
Before you get the big. So
That's what I'm doing.
that is really good. Well, you grow, girl.
Thank you.
So you guys, we have another segment that we do here. If you're new and you're unsure of what I'm talking about, we have a segment called Unchurch Me.
Unchurch me. Hey.
Let me help you.
Right. Unchurch me.
Unchurch me, please.
Unchurch me, please.
So, ladies, for this segment, we like to look at church culture and really take maybe some sayings that you've seen before or something that you've heard before. You're not really sure what's going on, and we just like to give a little clarity, a little understanding around it. So, AD, what you got for us?
This is one phrase that I'm so sick of.
One
I'm
word.
sick of it. God's not through with me yet. Listen, I feel like this phrase is just a segue to do whatever you want to do. It cancels out all the good and everything negative that you want to do in your life. You can always say, God's not through with me yet. And that gives you liberty to just do it. That is a crutch. Like, y'all got to stop these phrases, man. Y'all know, do y'all understand?
I definitely
Yes.
get it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm going to go, and nothing against, whatever y'all do. I'm going to go ahead and take this shot because God's not through with me yet. I'm going to go ahead and go to the club because God's not through with me yet. I'm going to go ahead and sleep with her husband because God's not through with me yet. What? Like, what?
That's good.
Like, who raised y'all? Where y'all getting this stuff from?
Not who raised y'all.
I think also it's just like I don't feel like correcting my behavior. I don't feel
They
like
being lazy.
taking the responsibility or being accountable for my actions or accountable to God in a way. Because if He put something on your heart and been telling you to do it,
That's it.
and you not doing it, and then you can just use the excuse that, oh, He not through with me yet. He's still working on me.
Or you
good.
want the glory, but you don't want to actually do what he's telling you to do.
Yeah.
And so you got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. So he ain't through with you. I'm going to go to the club. But now I want victory. I want this and want that. I'm going to come to church. And it's like, it don't work like that.
Y'all
in
got to
one
cut
foot
it
out.
out.
That's really good. And that is a saying that you hear all the time. And yes, it's okay to be getting worked on.
Yeah,
by
yeah,
God.
definitely.
But
Always.
using it as an excuse, I think that's where it becomes a problem.
At some point, you got to grow up.
I think it's not the saying per se, it's you knowing you're using
It's the mentality.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know that it's
Yeah.
wrong, but you're saying that like as an excuse. Not that God, because God's still working on everybody. However, you say that right before you do something you know you don't want, you're not supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
You don't say that the other side, but now
Exactly.
he's still working on you. He was working on you last night, so I'm confused. So yeah.
That's really good. That's really good.
yeah.
So, ladies, if you've ever, or if you are still using that as an excuse, you know, deep down in your heart, that it's just time to make a change.
Yeah.
Go on, make
This
that change,
is your
today.
notice.
We got your back.
Serving
You ask God for a sign. This is your
Right.
sign.
This is your sign.
This is a virtual push and challenge.
Yes, that's good. Thank you, AD, for that you girl, because
Keep us on our toes.
right, accountability. We
Yep.
appreciate that.
Yep.
Let's jump straight into this topic. This one I'm excited for, guys.
Me too.
All right.
Me too, whatever it is.
So today's topic is when God says no.
What?
That's
Success,
good.
yeah.
God
You
says
better
no.
say that.
He
You
really
better-
says
He
no.
says no sometimes.
Oh my
I know they
God.
say all the what is it?
When
Yes and
Jesus-
amen.
Yes
Every-
and amen.
yes.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh.
But
Wow.
sometimes. So my first question, throw it out there to
that's
the
good.
group is: have you ever had God say no?
Yep.
And how did you
Times.
feel? Like, what were you thinking?
Oh man.
What you got?
So for me, this is prior to meeting my husband now. I was believing God and thinking that I was about to get in this relationship and, you know, like this guy and was believing that he's my husband, da da da. So for me, God didn't audibly say no, but he didn't answer me when I asked him the question,
Exactly.
which was a no. And so for me, that made me feel so crushed. The fact that he wasn't permitting that, which I now understand and completely
Yeah.
thank the Lord for that he said no. But I just remember that moment, like literally asking him that and him saying like, not saying it like no, but me knowing that it was a no.
I know one time, my brother and my sister-in-law, they wanted to go on a date tonight, and I prayed about it, and God said no. And when I tell you, that thing hurt them more than it hurt me.
She funny.
I am done with you.
I can't wait to go on my date tonight.
no, but I agree with you, ladies here. And
She switched it up on us.
right, I wasn't ready for that one. But I will say, to piggyback off what you said, my experience when God said no was kind of similar to yours. I was dating a guy and I thought he was the one. I was like, oh, this is going to be it. You know, he has treated me better than any guy has ever treated me. I was like, oh, this is it. And I remember I went to go visit him. And when I got back on the plane to leave, God said, no, that's not it. And the whole ride home, I was just like, but why? But like, why? But like, it's great. Like, it's, you know, this is what I've been asking for in a lot of ways. I mean, some ways, no, but we can work that out. You know, I was like, so like, I'm over here in my mind, like going back and forth with God, like
Trying to compromise.
trying to compromise.
Maybe he
And
didn't say it this way.
right. And so I felt, like you said, kind of crushed because like I thought I had heard from God. I thought like he had said that he was the one. And it was like, no, this ain't it. So I definitely know the feeling of when he says no and then trying to go back and forth with him. If he says no, he ain't gonna change his mind.
Oh no, it's not.
So
Don't do that.
Yeah. What about you guys?
So mine was when me and my husband, we first got married. We planning stuff in our own head. And God don't say no to me audible, but he'll show me like, no, that's not it, not the time, not the season, whatever. So it was us getting home and having kids. That wasn't it. So it was something that big. You really gotta be like, what? I thought be fruitful and multiply. You trying to tell him his word. He like, yeah, that's specific, but that ain't for you right now. And so that was, a no. And I do believe it's a yes and amen, but I also know it's seasons and times specifically for you that he wants you to do stuff. Not saying it's not going to happen, but for me, it was like, okay, you got to be okay with he know the beginning. And I look back now, me and my husband have transitioned jobs 3 times. Wow. So it's like, no, you thought you was going to have that baby. No. So, yeah.
And that's tough.
Yeah.
That's really tough. Can I just share one more? It was another time where God actually used our man of God, our pastor, and basically spoke through him and told us no. It was when me and Pastor, we were engaged, preparing for our wedding, and we were thinking that Pastor was probably going to move down to Alabama because at the time, my job was more steady, it was like looking at it, it looked like it made sense. Yeah, it made sense on paper for him to just come on to Alabama. He was getting offered a position at the church I was already at.
Right, lined up.
He went up to his, at the time it was just his pastor, but he went up to him, told him about it, and he said no, like hard, like he said nope, and just shook his head. So he calls me, and I'm upset. I'm like, who is this man? Like he don't understand. Da, 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 da. But it was like we prayed about it after that and was just like, all right, that's what the man of God said. So that's just a little tidbit. If you are following a spirit-led pastor, leader, mentor, they hear from God sometimes on behalf of you. So just be open. He might use them to tell you no.
Or yes, or whatever.
Or yes, or whatever. Yeah.
That's good.
Sometimes I know for me, God will confirm through somebody else what I was kind of already feeling. Like I was already feeling like he was saying no, and then all right, okay, fine. So
you got me.
Yeah, that's really good. So like how can you, or have you ever heard God say no? Is it like an audible voice, or is it just like a feeling that you get? Like have you had it in different ways when God says no?
I'm gonna be honest, my first time hearing God's voice say no, like audibly, I'm gonna tell y'all, like I think I was in college and I was going to see one of my friends at the time, and I was going over his house, didn't have any intentions or anything, just, hey, let's kick back, let's chill, let's watch a movie. Netflix wasn't really big at the time, but the whole Netflix and chill type thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm literally, headed over there, we was gonna eat, all of that stuff. And as I'm driving, I literally heard God say no. When I tell you, it scared me because I had never heard it before.
Yeah.
I've known God all my life, so it was nothing for me to, hear things, but I always heard about people talking about, I hear God. I had never heard him until that day. And when I tell you, I was so scared to move, I didn't even call him and tell him I wasn't coming. I turned that car back around. I was like, oh no, because listen, if God come back tonight, I want to be ready.
Yep.
I want to be ready. And I was like, oh yeah, nah.
Yeah. So it's
good.
audible sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it's audible.
Definitely.
Sometimes you won't have peace about the thing that you're asking
You're
him
right.
about, and you will feel. For me, I felt I didn't have peace. I felt uneasy, or even now, like if you ask God, if I ask God something, sometimes He'll still say no. I think that's a part of just Him trying to make sure that He's leading you according to His will, and being here on this earth, there are things that we desire and want to do, and He will shut it down all the time if He wants to. But just knowing that for me, I'm big on my peace. And so when I notice that I don't have peace about something that I'm desiring or been praying about, I'm not going to pursue it until He gives me peace.
Yeah. And I agree with Lady Taryn. The peace will be off. Or one thing, if you're in your devotional or if you're under a leader and you're in your word, God already gives you like instructions. The Holy Spirit will tell you months in advance for stuff. And so I'll look back in my notebook and I'll be like, well, this decision don't align with what he already said. Like I do that all the time. Opportunities come for me. People want to do this. I'm like, no, this is my season of isolation. So all these lunch days, no. The answer is no. Even something like a lunch day, no. The answer is no, because I already know what season I'm in. And so I'm okay with God already said this is what I gotta do. It's not no, it's just like, no, this is your focus right now. Or, you know, like my engine blew out my car in December. He didn't give us the green light to buy another one. But 2 months before that, our father-in-law blessed us with a car unexpectedly. So it's like, okay, God, you didn't leave. You didn't say go get another one, but you already handled it before it even blew out. So stuff like that is like, some people would be like, well, this is a sign to get a new car. No, it's not. He already planned everything. So for me, like you said, it's that peace and just looking at what God already said.
Yeah, that's really
huge.
good. I am big on my peace too. If I don't have like, and it's like I'm always confused. There's some type of confusion that comes along with it too, and I'm just like, I don't know why I can't piece this together.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why this isn't like make it make sense, Lord. You're not making it make sense. So maybe it's not supposed to. Maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this. And I always ask like, okay, if I feel like he's saying no, maybe it's just me. But I'll be like, are you sure? All right, one more time.
I need you to confirm.
Right, like
that's
I'll be like, are
normal.
you sure? But like I like to make sure, and the reason why I say that is I like to make sure that I'm not doing something because I'm fearful,
Right.
or because I'm holding myself back, which kind of leads into my next question. Like how do you know? How do you guys decipher when God is saying no and when you're blocking yourself? Like you're saying no and be like, oh, well, maybe God don't want me to do it, but no, really, it's because you're afraid, or it's because you're fearful of what will happen when you do step out there. Like, how do you guys decipher? Because for me, I'll be like, are you sure, God? And sometimes he won't answer me with a no. It'll come back with the question of, well, why aren't you doing this? And then in my mind, I already know I'm not doing it because I'm afraid. So it's like, I'm not telling you no. You're telling yourself no. So I kind of answer myself because sometimes God will ask me a question versus just saying no. And it'll come back down to, I'm afraid, or I'm being timid, or so how do you guys decipher that?
I think it's what you just said. You got to know yourself and know your weaknesses too. I used to struggle with not feeling good enough or not feeling like, oh, God, they picked me. Why? And I'll shrink back. And he'd be like, because I already assigned you to it. Like, this, you shrinking back. I gave you the green light, but you shrinking back because of such and such want you to speak. And it's like, don't focus on such and such. Focus on me and the opportunity I've given you. So I think being very in tune with your fears, your anxieties, your procrastination, whatever you got going on, is like, okay, this me, because I know I'd be scared about this. Like, I know I'd be scared to drive or whatever it is. But if you don't know you, then that's, I would say, like, ask God to work on your heart and be like, God, show me, you know, what's in my heart. Is it me? Because there's been plenty of times I've held myself back.
Yeah.
But now, you know, being more spiritual in Christ now, it's like, no, I ain't holding myself back. I'm going to do it afraid now.
Oh, that's good. Both of y'all really, you know, answered it. I think just what I gathered from what y'all shared, of course, is just having that awareness, and staying connected to God so that, you know, you will. I feel like the more you draw close to him, of course, that's what the word tells us, you know, he'll draw close to us. And so you're able to fine tune your ear so that you can hear his voice clearly as he's leading you each and every day. And it's when we begin to pull away, you know, maybe not getting as much of that time in with him.
Yeah.
That's when our view and our perspective can get flawed or obscured. Did I say that word right? But, you know, that's when our view can get kind of hazy and blurry, where we begin to try to fill in the blanks for what he has already actually told us to do or what he has told us not to do. But I feel like for me, I have to stick close to hear his voice. Even if it's a no, I know that it came from him. And like you say, just being aware of your weaknesses to say, all right, the Lord, I already got the verdict on this. You know, this is already what he told me to do. It's me, you know, and just being real with yourself when it comes to that.
Yeah, I like that you said knowing his voice, because I know the difference between his voice and it's just two different people. It's just extreme. What you said, the east and the west. It's
That's right.
it's different.
That's right. I also feel, but so the audible voice, and then like you said, just feeling that peace and all of that. For me, I've always had to have like a sign. Listen, throw me a smoke signal, a sign, let a bus like flip over, like something crazy. So I know that is, you know what I'm saying? I've always been the one that I need confirmation after confirmation after confirmation. And finally, God was like, listen, I said it once. Like, how many times you need me to tell you no or yeah? You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's no in between. So, like I said, with the signs and stuff like that, like, even if I did not hear a voice, I could be driving and it's a whole stop sign that will appear that has never been on this street before. And now I gotta stop here and think about, oh, okay, stop. No, it's a big red sign saying no. You know what I'm saying? So I've always been that person to kind of piece together little, you know.
I've seen something, or there's a book called When God Winks at You or something like that. Have you seen that?
No, but
Or
I need a
people call
wink.
stuff- like what you're saying is like God winks. When he winks at you and he gives you like these little, you throw it out there and be like, God, what is this? And then he'll throw you something and it's like, that's God winking at you.
It's amazing.
I heard somebody say that one.
That's
before.
cool.
I think it's a book or something I was reading. I don't know.
Wink
at me, Lord.
Wink at me, Lord.
But yeah. So that was really good. That was really good. Thank you guys. Because I know sometimes, or when I first started walking with God, I really didn't understand or didn't know like the different ways that he could speak to us. And I think just not getting comfortable with one way. Because like you said, sometimes he'll say it one time, he'll say it one time. And then like, you gotta be, like you said, like you gotta be,
catch it.
you gotta be okay with that. So just being aware. So ladies, just fine tuning your ear, or even just spending time with God will help you clearly and understand where and how he's trying to lead you. So thank you. Thank you for that. So before we wrap up every episode, we like to do what we call our Selah moment. So this is where we take a second to really dive deep in the word. So whether we give you just a different perspective, a little more clarity, some understanding about God's word, we like to take a second just to indulge.
Let's indulge.
Whatever you want.
To dive deep in his word. So today I'm going to pass our Selah moment over to...
Come on, make it rich and make it make sense.
All
got for us
right, so
today?
let's turn to the Good News Bible in the Bible app, because that breaks it down like a fourth grader, and I need that for myself. So
right.
Proverbs 3, this is a familiar scripture, verse 5 through 6, but I'm going to read it the way it's stated in the Good News Bible, because this is how we need to hear it. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Never rely on what you think you know. See, I need it straight like
wow.
that. Remember the Lord in everything you do, and he will show you the right way. So my biggest thing is definitely trust in the Lord with all your heart. So if you trust someone with all your heart, you don't keep questioning them and say, okay, well, do I trust you today? I trust you tomorrow? You're going to be okay with that no, but don't rely on what you think you know. Don't rely on, well, I know I got this much in the bank, or I know my car broke down. So I love the fact that we not relying on our own understanding. That's what it said in King James, but for us is don't rely on what you think you know, because we not the beginning and the end. So for me, I think that's something that we need to practice daily, not relying on what we think should happen or if it makes sense in the world, and being, when you do that, you're okay with his no. That's a Selah moment.
All
right,
thank you. And that just ties in perfectly with what we just talked about, because I know a lot of our examples of God saying no is like, we thought it was perfect. You know, you and your husband had just got married.
Yep.
Why not have a baby? Why not buy a house? You know what I'm saying? We had found guys that were like, oh, he's great. Why not? And it's like, no. So, I mean, definitely not relying on what you think you know.
Yes.
What you see can trip us up sometimes. So, thank you. Thank you for that. So, ladies, this is the end of today's episode. If we have said anything that's helped you, if you got any clarity, any understanding on when God says no, ways he can speak to us, please drop that in the comments. We'd love to hear how or your thoughts on it. What did you get from it? Definitely leave us a comment, because we want to hear from you. If you are ever in the Charlotte area, please stop by. We are in the building. We are here in Charlotte. So please come and see us. We want to see you. You're a part of our extended family, so we want to make sure you're doing well. If you cannot come by, that's fine. You can catch up on our Flourish Women podcast on all streaming platforms, and you can catch our Sunday services for Flowing Life on our Facebook page, Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah.
So definitely be sure to check those out on those platforms. But Until the next episode, we will see you later.
See you later.
Bye.